What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. We hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy. Thanks to all of you who wished me well. I know I'm not sounding totally like myself. I'm battling some allergies, but I'm here to say that it finally happened. No, Manchester United qualifying for the Champions League is not what I'm talking about, but that did happen, and I'm obviously very excited. What we are talking about is the big-time NFL news that dropped on Friday afternoon. It is the Friday before a holiday. Happy Memorial Day to everyone. The Arizona Cardinals have officially released wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. We have been having this conversation for months around here. For months, we have speculated saying the Cowboys should trade for DeAndre Hopkins. The Cowboys should absolutely pursue DeAndre Hopkins. Then the Cowboys did trade for Brandon Cooks. We kind of had those waters calm a little bit. We all have talked ourselves rightfully into the Cowboys wide receiver group being one of the very best in the NFL, featuring CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Michael Gallup. But what if it could also feature DeAndre Hopkins? Here's the thing. You no longer have to trade for him. You no longer have to absorb that big-time contract. Now DeAndre Hopkins is a complete and total free agent. He can totally choose what team he wants to join. He can totally come to terms on a brand new deal with that particular team. And the Dallas Cowboys should absolutely consider being that team, being the one. Let DeAndre Hopkins give you a rose, Dallas Cowboys. I have no idea why anybody would argue against this, honestly, if you were a Dallas Cowboys fan. I understand that CeeDee Lamb is present and accounted for and that he needs a new deal. He's obviously entering the fourth year of his rookie contract. The Cowboys did pick up that fifth-year option recently, so he is tied to the team at the very least through 2024, and we certainly hope well beyond that. Michael Gallup signed his new deal a year ago. We're all confident and hopeful that he bounces back from the torn ACL that happened in January of 2022, but it was very clear and obvious that the Cowboys needed more, which is why they traded for Brandon Cooks this offseason. Now, I don't think that Brandon Cooks and Michael Gallup are going anywhere next offseason. So maybe you bring in DeAndre Hopkins as some sort of one-year rental, and maybe you are going to argue that you can't feed all these mouths, but having a lot of good players, having a lot of good receivers is a very good problem to have. There's no way that you should be saying the Cowboys should not be considering this. Now, here's the thing. DeAndre Hopkins will turn 31 years old very soon, in about 2 weeks, about a week and change, couple of days, beyond a week. So you can argue that he's obviously not the prime version of himself, but he is absolutely somebody who could help the Dallas Cowboys. And when we consider the landscape of the NFC, which is a conversation that we have had many times as well, who are the contending teams in the NFC? All right. Who? Tell me right now. And we can sit here and you can make your jokes if you're a hater or whatever about the Cowboys, how they're never going to get over the hump. They're never going to get to the title game, blah, blah, blah. There are 3 teams right now contending in the NFC in a serious manner. You've got the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning conference champions. You've got the San Francisco 49ers, the team that has knocked the Cowboys out of the playoffs in each of the last 2 years. And you have the Cowboys themselves. If you add DeAndre Hopkins to this wide receiver group, you have what is inarguably the best wide receiver room in the NFL. Not just the best starting wide receiver group, best wide receiver group in 11 personnel. You have the best wide receiver room in the NFL. We've sat here and we've argued and we've debated and we've speculated about who's going to be wide receiver 4 for the Dallas Cowboys. Is it going to be Simi Fehoko? Is it going to be Jalen Tolbert? Is it going to be, Jalen Moreno-Cropper? Is somebody going to kind of pop up and be that dude to kind of be that first guy in the rotation when one of the starters is not playing? Well, what if you make wide receiver 4 Michael Gallup because you bring in DeAndre Hopkins? Now, I recognize that you're paying Michael Gallup a lot of money, but at this point, this is what you save that money for. This is that rainy day. The rain is here. It's raining outside, and instead of wanting to curl up with a blanket in a movie, I want the Cowboys to sign DeAndre Hopkins. Take a look at this. The potential Dallas Cowboys wide receiver group with DeAndre Hopkins in the fold would be look, this could be our team. CeeDee Lamb, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, and Michael Gallup. Who could possibly be against this? Now, again, DeAndre is going to be 31 years old. He has missed 17 games over the last 2 years. There are some things that work against him in the argument, in the conversation. I'm not going to sit here and act like it is a total A-plus proposition, but he comes in and significantly helps your team. He significantly helps your quarterback. He significantly helps your offense. We've seen the Cowboys pour more and more and more resources into the defense over the course of the offseason. Yes, they did trade for Brandon Cooks. Yes, they did draft Luke Schoonmaker in the second round. But if you add DeAndre Hopkins, you have nothing but aerial threats. This is the way, Dallas Cowboys. You have to do it. And you know what? If you do it, then somebody else doesn't do it, right? What would be the worst possible case scenario, right? If the Eagles signed DeAndre Hopkins or the Buffalo Bills. I know that the Bills are an AFC team. The Cowboys do visit Buffalo in December for what it's worth. And what if you had to see them in the Super Bowl? We've sat here and talked about a million things. Speaking of the Bills, we've said trade for Stephon Diggs. You don't have to trade for anything. You don't have to do anything like that. You just have to agree to terms, and you might have to pay a little bit of money. But again, this is what it's for. This is the investment. This is the time. This is the deal that you've been hoping is going to come along your way at some point in the future. Smash the piggy bank open and bring DeAndre Hopkins to the Dallas Cowboys. It makes nothing but complete and total sense. We have seen the Cowboys prove to us, and I want to say prove because they deserve their credit. They deserve their flowers. That is an expression that we have said a million times as well over the last few months. They have proven to us that they are taking this more seriously, that they are trying to challenge now that they sense the moment in the NFC. They are not afraid of the challenge that the Philadelphia Eagles present within the NFC East. If you go get DeAndre Hopkins, this is your world. You get to make the rules. You become the kingmaker in the NFC East, in the NFC, and hopefully in the NFL as a whole. And you know what? If you don't win the Super Bowl this year, but you went out and you signed DeAndre Hopkins when it's the final week of January or whatever the case may be, and we're sitting here, we're talking about it, we're going to say, you know what? Damn, you tried. You did. You gave it your damnedest effort, and we give you your props and your flowers for that as well. We want to see that. We do not want to see the Cowboys sit and chill and it be a matter of money, because this is what the money is for. That is what we have been told over and over and over and over again. The Cowboys have learned seemingly their lesson with Amari Cooper last year. They actually got more from Amari, by the way, than the Arizona Cardinals got for DeAndre Hopkins, but they learned their lesson. They recognized that they could not put too much on the shoulders of Jalen Tolbert as a rookie or Michael Gallup coming off of a torn ACL. Think about it. Dennis Houston was a starting wide receiver for the Cowboys in week 1 last year. And that's not to say anything to disparage Dennis Houston. It's just an indictment of where the Cowboys were at from an overall wide receiver perspective last season. You have a chance to live the other way. Come to this place, Cowboys. We want DeAndre Hopkins. We want him now. Please, thank you, and whatever else we have to say. All right. That's it. I feel like I was pretty calm and reasonable, right? I want the Cowboys to sign DeAndre Hopkins. You want the Cowboys to sign DeAndre Hopkins. So let's just kind of hope that that happens. If we don't talk to you, we do hope you have a happy Memorial Day weekend. Hope you get some time to do whatever it is that you want to do. Thanks so much for hanging out here. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. We have stuff that comes out all of the time. My name is RJ Ochoa. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa, or on TikTok at rj.ochoa. If you would like to, you can send me an email as well, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com, or you can leave a comment down below. We'll do our best to get to those as well. I'm going to go eat some pretzels and hummus. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go eat some pretzels and hummus and try to will this into existence. So thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. I'll let you know how they are, and we'll see you next time.